Ring the bells, sound the alarms. The spring market is here in Winston Salem and Greensboro. And on December 10th, 2024, I predicted that the spring market this year is going to be busier than normal. And so far, that is proving to be absolutely correct. And just in my personal dealings in the last week or so, homes in all prices throughout the triad, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, suburbs, from $350,000 to almost $900,000 are selling much quicker than normal, way quicker than the 20 and 30 days on market that we saw during deal season. Yeah, those days are coming to an end really, really quickly. And on top of the normal seasonality and things like that we deal with, yes, spring is typically a busier time of year in, the market around here. But on top of that, rates are finally back below 7%. When I'm recording this, they're at about 6.5%, which is bringing a lot of buyers that were on the sidelines back into the market. So these two things combined are going to make for a busier spring. But don't fret. If you're looking at buying a house this spring or summer in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and the suburbs, I have some tips in this video that are really going to help. They're going to help you navigate this and help you get the right home at the right price. And if you need help buying or selling real estate, my contact information is on the screen and in the description below. But the first thing I want to talk about is a huge increase in inventory this year over last year, which was a huge increase the year before and so forth. Take a look at these numbers from February in Forsyth County. So this is just Forsyth County. So take a look back at February of 2022. You're going to see that in the entire county, there were only 318 homes for sale. You see they've increased steadily over the years to 2025. February, we had 971 homes for sale in Forsyth County. A huge, huge increase. This is great news for buyers. Whenever you see the supply of something triple over the last 2 years like that, that's one, it's going to be good news because of just more choice. Because remember, supply and demand, when you have a lot more supply, that just tends to help prices not go through the roof. So seeing this many homes for sale right now is great news for buyers. Next thing I want to talk about is, what is your priority? I'm going to ask you to prioritize two separate areas because this is going to help you be able to think more clearly. So when the right time comes, you can act without second guessing yourself or not sure what's going on, but prioritize these two areas. The first one is the priority pie. A few videos back, I mentioned thinking of a real estate purchase like a pie. So within this pie, we have to prioritize price, size, condition, and location. So if location is your utmost importance, that's going to take up a bigger piece of the pie. That's going to leave less pie for the other three items and so forth. But just take a minute to, when we're on the phone or on a Zoom call, we'll talk through this, or just, think about this yourself. What is your most important priorities on there? So if a 4-bedroom is a strong want, but not an absolute need, maybe you'll consider a 3-bedroom so the size is a little bit smaller than it being in absolute move-in condition. You're smart, you get the point, you understand what I'm saying, but take a second just to prioritize that. And then the second thing I want to think about what your priorities are is, and this is a question I ask almost every single client when we're talking about making an offer, especially if it's a busy or maybe competitive situation. What is your priority? Is your priority getting this exact house, or is your priority getting this house at the best price possible? And the reason I ask that is because we can go about making an offer in a bunch of different ways. There are a lot of different things we can adjust within an offer, and we might structure that offer differently if this is the dream house, it's the one, we have to have it, versus I like this house, I like the area, it could work, but we want to get a really good deal on it. We're going to approach that from two different angles. So it's important just to think of what your priority is on the house we're about to make an offer on. Okay, next tip is to pre-eliminate houses before you actually go see them. And this one is always a little counterintuitive because you might think, I want to have a wide net, I want to see as many houses as possible. But here's the way I want you to think about that. When you pre-eliminate houses in a busier time, that frees up your most valuable thing right now, right? Which is our time. So wherever you're looking at your houses at, whether I'm sending them to you or Zillow, Realtor, wherever you're looking at, think of your online view as your first showing. Go through your pie exercise as you're scrolling through in your head of, price, size, location, condition, and eliminate everything that you can as soon as you can. If there are certain other things that are important to you, school district, deed restrictions, HOA, things like that, take a quick second to look at those, or shoot me a text or something like that. Ask me about it so we can just eliminate everything as possible beforehand, so that way when we get out to the house, we know if it looks like the pictures, and that's sometimes a big if, as you know, but if it looks like the pictures, there's a good chance we might make an offer on it. We know statistically that people see about 4 to 7 houses in person before they find one to make an offer on. So it does not have to be the first one, But if we're looking at, 10, 15, 20 houses and we still haven't found the one, we're going to have to take a look back at our priorities and see what are we missing, what do we have to adjust, or what can we pre-eliminate beforehand. Because when the market is busier, and yeah, it might not be multiple offers on every single house, but when the days on market goes from 25 or 28 down to 3 or 4, we don't have a lot of time to be going looking at this house that's, maybe, when we know that there's 2 other really good options that other people are going to want to see as well. So saving time by pre-eliminating is a huge tip. Now let's talk about a tip on how to find some deals in a busy and what can be competitive market. The first thing I want to talk about is a tale of 2 homes, right? This scenario is playing out throughout Winston-Salem, Greensboro, the suburbs. We're seeing it all over the place. I'm going to give you a scenario with 2 different homes, one that sold really quickly. Take a look at this one. Almost $900,000. I was going to see this with a client when they came into town this weekend, and it went under contract before they even got to town at almost $900,000. And I'm not showing the actual listings on these because I don't want to blow up the agent on this next one. I do know them, and unfortunate situation that they're in. But when you look at this house, it's a nice house in a great neighborhood in Guilford County, desirable, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at this house, just know it's a newer house, was in great condition, it's beautiful, in a desirable neighborhood in Guilford County. Almost $900,000, what's considered a luxury price point here. Take a look at a very similar house. This one is still on the market almost 3 months later. Not the exact same neighborhood, but it's right next door. A very similar house, similar age. Both homes are beautiful. This one has a wide open showing calendar. No one's going out to see it. What's going on? And without getting too buried in the weeds on this, here's the thing. They're both about $880,000 houses. But the house that is still on the market started at, I believe it was $925,000, well over $900,000 for what really is about an $880,000 house. And buyers are just not buying overpriced homes right now. They're not doing it, thankfully. It's not in those scenarios where you can put any house up at any price and someone's going to buy it. Buyers are much more selective right now. So overpricing this house was a huge mistake, but here's where that comes in for you if you're looking for a deal. This house right now that started at over 900, we saw a very good comp that sold at about 882 in just a few days. I'm confident we can get this house, if we wanted to, for under $880,000 right now. We can get a better deal on it now than if they would have priced it correctly in the first place. So how can you apply this? What this means to you is do your pre-elimination work, right? Go through the, your 4 criteria, eliminate every house. But if the house has been on the market for a long time, if it meets all those other checks, do not simply eliminate it because it has been on the market for a long time. There's a lot of sellers right now still that are testing a market that is just non-existent. Looking at homes that have been on the market for, 30 plus days, 21 plus days, things like that is a great opportunity for buyers right now to get a better deal than they could have if they would have just priced the home correctly in the first place, because now the house has a stigma on it. So still do all your pre-elimination work, but don't just eliminate it because it's been on the market for a long time. So that's one of our best areas right now where we're getting actual deals, discounts, where we're buying below market. The second area that we're doing that is we're looking at edge areas. What do I mean by that? Somewhere just outside of town, just on the outskirts of town. So you're not in, rural if you don't want to be. You're still close to the city or wherever you want to be, but just on the edge of those popular areas. Or even just in a neighborhood right next to another neighborhood that's highly, highly desirable. Maybe you want to move to Sherwood Forest, but we see there's really good opportunities literally right next door to Sherwood Forest in Ashley Forest. These are also scenarios that are playing out not just Winston-Salem, but Greensboro, the suburbs, all around. I have examples in, Clemens, everywhere of both of these scenarios where we're seeing this playing out in real time right now. Are some good opportunities to get some deals. Last part on getting deals right now is structuring your offer appropriately. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in person because I know agents watch these as well, and I can't give all my secrets to every single agent that decides to watch this video. I do save some of that stuff for my actual clients, but suffice to say, we're going to structure your offer differently depending on the situation. And I will just say there are multiple ways that we can do this, whether you're paying cash or financing. There are multiple ways that we can do this, structure your offer in a more appealing way without, most importantly, without always having to pay more. I've done this tons and tons of times for clients throughout the years. It's one of my areas of expertise, but just how we can structure our offer, we can do it in a way that's going to make it much more appealing than a very similar offer, or even less oftentimes. Next tip I have for you for a busy spring market is to be ready. Remember, we talked about time in a busy market is very valuable. So getting ready in advance, and that's just, mentally, of course, because the process can go by really quick, but understanding the home purchase process, we're going to talk about that a ton. We have a great link on our website, govalentino.com, under buyers, that outlines the home buying process so you know what's coming next, you know the steps. But be ready with that. Be ready with your team. Have your pre-approval done if you're getting financing. Let's make sure we're talking with the lender, that you're through underwriting if possible, so we have a really good feeling about your loan. If we've done all that work and we know the property is a really big contender, let's take a look and start our due diligence a little bit sooner, right? Do you want to have chickens? Are there deed restrictions against that? Or is there an HOA and you're not sure what they cover? Have we reviewed the property disclosures and double checked if it's close enough to Trader Joe's for you? All those things like that, we want to get ready ahead of time so we know when we go out there, we have all of our ducks in a row, because things can move quick this time of year. And if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, anywhere in the suburbs, I'd love to be a resource for you. You can reach out to me directly at jeff@govalentino.com. Thanks.